I was reading this recent interview that was funny. They were asking Dave and Captain what Darkadelic meant. And Dave goes into this big long thing about, is it a mystery? Is it a noir story? Is it a dark, stormy night? And all this stuff. You know, it could be a lot of different things. And then Captain's like, I think it just means like psychedelic and darkness together. I think that might have been the same article where they called Captain Dave's sidekick, which I got a chuckle out of. I got a sensible chuckle out of it. Yeah, so I've had this Darkadelic now for 24 hours. I didn't get to finish the series I thought I was going to. I was having a countdown to Darkadelic. I think I did 11 parts, including some singles. I got everything. I talked about every album pretty much, except for the first one, in Machine Gun Etiquette, which probably need the least talking about, because they're the two best in most people's eyes. In mine it would be Machine Gun Etiquette and Strawberries, but that's just me. Yeah, Darkadelic, it's, first off, it's like the best thing this century, easy. The 3 prior albums they released in this century, God, so old. We're all old, man. But just the bodies. The antennas are old. We're eternal beings that last forever, can't die, never have not been alive. So you deal with that while I go on about Darkadelic. It's the best one in the century. And then, of course, because, you know, we all do these kind of things, I try to determine where it was in the ranking of the other ones. It's better than anything. It's better than Not of This Earth. God, I should just like join one of these groups of people and start getting mail and vacation benefits. Because you try to get around people, but sometimes you're stuck with them. It's like, forward my mail to this group here. But yeah, it's great. It's quality stuff, and that's the thing about them. They don't release many albums, right? But when they do, they're always good. Like even the 3 that were released this century, they're all good. I think the least of those is probably So Who's Paranoid, only because it's a little bit mellower, I guess. But this one has a little bit of that, has shades of that. It's almost like, I've seen other bands do this, where they're in a late part of their career, and they'll do these albums that are kind of like, they give you a little bit of everything. That's what they kind of do here. And not that I think it's as contrived as that. I think that's just what the Damned are. They are all these different shades. They do all these different things. There is a heavier sort of, I guess if you want to call it goth kind of feel to it. Whatever that means. You know, dramatic, kind of dark. More so than any of the other things they've done recently. The 3 singles we've had are all good. They're all front-loaded to the front of the album, though, so if you haven't heard the rest of it, it's pretty convenient, because so far, the showstopper for me, man, I like Western Promise a lot. You kind of know where it's going, and it's weird. It's like a ballad, but in the more of the Scott Walker type vein of balladry. More over than, like, I don't know, Cheap Trick balladry. But yeah, it's good. That could be an early favorite. It rocks a little harder and it pulls back a little more. It's like it's the extremes of the Damned are all kind of represented here throughout the songs. The Gary Glitter song is kind of weird, only because I know he's saying, like, it's sad that they let the music go, or because of what he did. And it mentions that what he did was bad in the song. But also, I don't know, that's not a hill to die on. I think, you know, unless you feel super strongly about that music, and I don't know, it's alright, but you can't help but feel it's almost like he's not trying to excuse him of what he did, but why even bring up the specter of that? You know, we can let Rock and Roll Part 2 be lost to history. Actually, they used it in that Joker movie to good effect. So, It is sad what happened with this band. There's a lot of bands like that. You think of Lost Prophets to the same way. Like the guys that worked with these monstrous people end up paying the price and that's unfair. That's unfair, but you know, it's a tough thing to advocate for. So I mean, I don't know. I don't love that song just because of the, you know, the subject matter alone just kind of makes me like Captain sings on this one, track 4. Forget the name of it, but it's cool to hear him take a lead vocal, and his voice sounds really good. Where are we gonna go here? Let me see. We're gonna continue up here, or are we gonna take a hard right back? We're gonna see what we're gonna do. All right, we're gonna take a hard right back. Well, it depends. Like, I'm gonna have this guy follow me around now, or maybe not. Okay. Sometimes you gotta look at the lay of the situation and be like, do I want to make friends with this person? The answer is always no. If I go up on this path, because people coordinate their movements sometimes to catch up with you. I know this sounds weird and egotistical, but people will see you, and something about you will pique their interest. So what they do is they manipulate their pathing to create what may appear on the surface to the untrained eye to be an organic meeting. I've gone into this here before. And if someone's jockeying themselves to get to have an interaction with you, it's usually not good. It's usually not good. So sometimes you got to try to look at things from as far away as possible and say, what am I going to do? But anyway, enough of that. Yeah, it's I got to spend more time with it. I'll do a more like in-depth kind of look at it all. I'm going to give myself a week, or at least a week, to sit with it. Because it's funny, like, I don't even know if that's long enough. I don't know what long enough is. Because sometimes, like, you know, you look back on an album and you change your mind about it. It's usually for the better with me. Like, over time, it's usually I come to appreciate things more. I think there's an expectation when something is really new. And in the case of this Damned album, it's like they don't put stuff out, like I said, that often. So the expectation is pretty high. And I know they're not going to put out crap. They never have. You know, they've never done that. So I don't think they're going to do that. So, yeah, I got to sit with it a little bit. But first impressions is it's great. I love it. Oh, I love it. I give it a 4 vampire bats out of 5. For right now. It's only going to get higher. I don't know if it's a perfect. I don't know if it's a 5.5. It's probably going to remain a 4.5. Really strong. The best thing they've done in this century. You can tell that there was a lot of work put into it. Monty sounds great. Paul Gray. It's lovely to have him still around there, just in spite of everything that's happened to him. He's the classic damn bass player. No one else could. I mean, who else would be, right? I like Bryn. Bryn was cool, and Algie was cool, but they weren't around long enough, you know. And Captain he's the guitar player. It's weird because looking at that first band, it's almost like a completely different band, even though it has 3 of the same members. Because the dynamic was so different, especially with Captain on bass. And whenever they play, and I guess there's possibility of them doing more stuff. They all had a real good time. They all got along together, which is kind of cool. Because why wouldn't they? You know what I mean? Like there's been so much time under the bridge. There's been so much water under the fridge between those guys now that it's like, you know. And plus, they're at that age, and Captain said this too, where they're seeing people die, like friends of theirs, like dropping dead. So it probably kind of puts you in that headspace, that mentality of, hey, you know, we should probably make the best of the time we have. I'd like to see them keep it separate, though, because, I mean, if they had a reunification completely, I mean, it could be good, but I know if they ever did that, we'd have to probably chuck out all the other songs that came after Brian, because he doesn't play them live. They could always do what they did in 1990. That is a good situation where they play half the set as the one band, half the set with the other. But I don't know. That's just too. I don't know. Hopefully they do more stuff together. But I like the way things are kind of now. You know. Anyway, yeah, I'll be back to look at that one again in a little while, and I'll break it down track by track. Break it down. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hammer time. Go play in the teacher. Play in the school.